I want to state something about Impact before I get into this show, just because I want to state that as much as I might complain, it's coming from a person who wants to see things like this do better, because I want to see there to be competition again in the professional wrestling business. I want to see TNA and Lucha Underground and ROH do better, so WWE will do better. I will continue to support TNA and Lucha Underground for this specific reason. But TNA still has problems. And that's why I do this. Because the problems do need to be pointed out, because if they're not, how are they ever supposed to be fixed? Now to this week's Impact. The beginning of the show starts with the BDC arriving at the arena and they're in Scotland this week. And MVP says that last week never happened. They were never beaten. That's fucking bullshit, and I fucking hate this. That is so fucking stupid. And let me tell you why. One, you, you're just gonna deny facts here. It just makes you look like you're in denial. It makes you look like a little bitch. Because that's what you guys looked like last week. You can't just forget the fact that you, not only did you outnumber them, Kurt is old and is, has weakened parts of his body, and you injured Gunner, so you went into this match with an enormous advantage. And you still lost. You cannot deny this. So now, not only do you guys look like a bunch of weak-ass bitches that your only tactic is gang beatdowns, the only thing you have, you're also in the process ruining Samoa Joe and Low Ki, because you had to add them into into the Beatdown Clan. Samoa Joe and Low Ki, who, at least with the way they are supposedly built in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, should be completely able, if they want to kick someone's ass, able to do it all on their own. They're supposed to be these really hard to stop, tough motherfuckers. And by sticking them in here, you're ruining them. I'll get a little bit more about Samoa Joe later, but at the very least, Low Ki has every reason to be leaving this group. We proceed to have a segment where Kurt calls out Lashley, telling him he wants a, World Heavyweight title shot. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to mention that apparently, essentially, the whole Team Angle versus the Beatdown Clan match was pointless. Because everything this week just basically says that match was pointless. There was no reason to have it. It didn't fucking matter. Didn't change a damn thing. Fuck any purpose that match had. Fuck it. But anyways, the Beatdown Clan comes out, and this just sets up a match where it's going to be the BDC versus Lashley and Angle for the main event tonight. Okay. Then we go into match number 1, Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries. It's said that apparently this match affects the top 5 ranking, and then the top 5 ranking in the World Heavyweight Championship thing affects next week, because next week there's going to be a 20-man gauntlet match. And the top 5 will be the number 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20th entrant. I don't like this. I like the fact that it's affecting things, but I don't like the idea of the top 5 in general, because first of all, the last time they did this, it was dumb. And secondly, something like a gauntlet match defeats the purpose of it. Yeah, it's nice that it affects it, but shouldn't the people that are in the top five, pardon me, shouldn't the people that are in the top five be the only ones that are really should be concerned about? I, I just don't like it. Also, there's no real good explanation of how the top five ranking works. There's people in there sometimes that make no sense, like EC3, when he's really not done anything. He's not had matches. It made no sense. This match starts off with a lot of really fast-paced holds. Almost a little bit too fast, though. I do have to say that, but it was a really good match overall. Um, there's some bad spots to it, but overall a good match. I think I don't know if I can blame the camera work on this, but there was like one part where Austin leaps off the top turnbuckle out to the outside, and he clearly misses Rude, and Rude goes down. And there's a spot where Tazz says that Austin boxes um, Rude's ears with his arms, but had a really really close up shot, and we could easily see that his arms were nowhere near his ears when he did it. So it I hate when they do things like that. I don't know if they need to improve the camera work or what, but they're just this is pre-taped. You should be able to fix this. I just don't like that fact about it. There is one part where Arias takes a suicide dive directly into the guardrail, and he looks like he smashes his face. It was brutal. I was more concerned about him there than I was about Jeff Hardy at Lockdown. And then the end comes when Aries can't escape the crossface and ends up tapping out. It's fine. It was a good match. Eric Young then, after the match, proceeds to jump Bobby Roode. And then he jumps him a second time after Roode starts being helped out of the arena. And then he twice gets Eric Young's pile driver. Apparently later in the night, it's said that Roode might not be participating in the gauntlet match next week. Okay, well, only thing I have to say about that is that they were talking about Bobby Roode being the number one spot in the top five, and if he's injured and can't participate next week, that made this match pointless. I know, right? Good match, but it was pointless. Because all the implications it was supposed to have, if Roode doesn't participate next week, they're not there anymore. There is a "you sold out" chant at Eric Young, and which I find really dumb because Eric Young didn't sell out. He just wanted revenge on Roode. I'm not going to say it was for a good reason, but he didn't sell out. There was a dumb chant. I don't know why they did it. I don't know. Maybe in Scotland they don't know the full story. I have no idea. Or maybe they're just trying to. Are they confusing? But are they confusing Eric Young with Seth Rollins? Again, he didn't sell out. What he did was not selling out. It's dumb. Then Al Snow comes out to the ring, and he is calling out Grotto. I don't know who Grotto is, but apparently he was in British Boot Camp number 2. I've not seen any of the British Boot Camps. I don't know what the fuck's going on with this. But I ask, are they just repeating the storyline that Snow had with Joey Ryan? Only in this time, Al Snow's the heel? Grotto comes out, or Grado, whatever his name is, comes out, and Al Snow gives him one last chance to quit and walk away from the business. I think Grado, it's hard to tell, he had a really thick accent, tell Snow to shut your mouth, McMahon. I was amazed that they were allowed to say that. I don't know. That's one of those things that I don't know. The WWE, I can see the WWE really getting on their cases about, but whatever. Stone says apparently Grado's mom is here, and maybe he'll listen to her. She proceeds to slap him. I guess this is setting up a match next week or something. I don't know. It was weird. I was like, I have no investment in this because, frankly, this is the first I've seen of this. They have not touched on this once since coming to Destination America. So the entire setup for this, I don't get. Whatever. Match 2, Crazy Steve versus Bram. It wasn't much of a match. It was really mostly just a jobber squash, and Bram calling out Magnus. So again, it wasn't even really a match. There was a match. There was a pinfall. Bram won, but it was pointless. It wasn't pointless. It wasn't a match. Nothing to really enjoy here. We see Gunner thanking Kurt for choosing him for Team Angle, but then he also questions teaming with Lashley. I can say this is a build for Kurt's feature match with Lashley if that ever happens, because there's so much up in the air about that title picture right now that I don't know. I think what they really want to do is Lashley versus Angle, but there's a lot of other things they have to address first, and I don't know. They have a lot way up in the air right now, and they really need to start tying some of these loose ends before it gets way too contrived. Match 3 of the night, EC3 and Tyrus versus Rockstar Spud, Mandrews, and Jeremy Borash. I find it amazing that Jeremy Borash somehow keeps getting the upper hand on EC3. As in this match, Jeremy Borash blocks EC3 first time he's in the ring from hitting him, and then proceeds to lay a beat down on him for a few minutes. For a minute. It's weird. Close to the end of the match, Jeremy Borash also does a top rope dive onto Tyrus. Borash really got into this match. But after that though, EC3 hits his finisher on Rockstar Spud and they win. Also, again, EC3 proceeds to try to shave Rockstar Spud. But Rockstar Spud is saved by the lights going out. After the lights come back, Mr. Anderson is standing between Tyrus and EC3 and proceeds to do what I can only describe as a Looney Tunes sketch. Because this was cartoony. Ken Anderson stood there and did this whole, "Come on guys, we gotta get him," like they were expecting someone to run out. I get the joke. But then he proceeds to do a poke to Tyrus's eyes in a very slow and silly fashion. Beats EC3 down a couple times. Does a very slow and cartoony low blow to Tyrus. And beats down EC3 some more. It was very Looney Tunes. It was funny, but it was very Looney Tunes. But Mr. Anderson's back. That's good to see. I like him for the most part. Then we see a part where Loki and Kenny King jump Gunner. We're back to this again, to the beatdown tactics. Fun. Madison Rayne comes out. At least I'm pretty sure it's Madison Rayne. Again, people who have been members of the Beautiful People, for the most part, I can't keep them straight. I cannot keep them straight. Pretty sure it's Madison Rayne. But she claims she is the queen of the knockouts division, the greatest of all time, and one title belt away from being the most decorated knockout of all. During this whole thing, there's a weird thud sound coming from the sound system. But, she says there is no lady in the back who could beat her. And who did not see this as, I ask, who didn't see this as a setup for Awesome Kong to come out? Because that's all this was. Did she not realize Awesome Kong was back? Also, even if Awesome Kong wasn't back, it would have been Havoc. She doesn't think very much, does she? Madison Rayne. Apparently this is actually a match. I did not realize that. It's Awesome Kong versus Madison Rayne. Madison is squashed by Awesome Kong. Not really much of a match. I don't know. Overall, the matches tonight, there's 2 good matches tonight and 3 I could have done without. Eh. Matt Hardy comes out to give us a status update on Jeff Hardy. Matt calls Jeff Hardy's fall uncontrollable fall. I say, he landed about as safely as you could in that sort of fall. It actually looked very controlled. And he also mentions this is the first time he has witnessed a broken Jeff Hardy. I say, I think Jeff was pretty broken when Sting held him down at Bound for Glory because he was too high to perform. Yeah, that's a broken Jeff. That was his low point. Not this. Fuck you, Matt. Then the Revolution interrupts. Storm then claims he has done what no one else has ever been able to do and take down Jeff Hardy. I say, I'm pretty sure CM Punk went on for over a year about how he did this exact same thing. And considering James Storm said even The Undertaker couldn't do this, yeah. Makes James Storm look like a liar. Then James Storm proceeds to give Matt Hardy 2 options. He can join the Revolution, or they're going to injure him. Matt chooses to be injured. I ask, where is Tigre Uno and the Wolves? They have every reason to come help Matt out. Manik puts Matt into a armbar, and then James Storm says, in the Revolution, it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but we'll just take your damn arm. And I ask, where the fuck did that come from again? Or I was like, what the fuck did they take from you, the Hardys? Like, what? What did they do? What did they do that requires this retaliation? Oh, nothing? Your logic seems to not make much sense, James Storm. Finally, the Wolves actually do come out, though I find it funny that 2 men chase off 5. 2 of them they're chasing off includes the Monster Abyss and Koya, who is supposed to be like super dominant. I don't know. That's the consistency of this sort of thing. It bothers me a lot. Then the Beatdown Crew attack just Austin Aries and throw him out of the arena. It's presumably so that he cannot cash in his contract tonight for the World Heavyweight title chance. Whatever. I don't think Austin Aries would have anyways, because he had a match earlier tonight that he lost. Also, he's got a chance at... He's in the 20-man he's in the 20-man gauntlet match next week. I don't think Austin Aries had no reason to cash that in tonight. Again, the logic here is flawed. I can understand because he's one of the people who have been resisting the Beatdown Clan because he was a part of Team Angle, just like Gunner. But that's not how it's justified by Tazz. And I'm really starting to get sick of Tazz in commentary because Tazz, quite honestly, ruins segments that would have been okay if he had just shut his fucking mouth. I'm done with Tazz. They need to get him off a microphone. He sucks. If they just had him talk about moves and how they affect you and things like that, that'd be one thing. But when he tries to justify stuff like this, he needs to shut the fuck up. This is the second week in a row where I have been complaining about Tazz saying something this fucking dumb that ruined something that would have been perfectly fine if he had never spoken. Tazz, shut the fuck up. Match number 5 tonight. Angle and Lashley versus the Beatdown Clan, and in this particular case, MVP and Samoa Joe. I take note that Joe looks like a slow piece of shit in this match. He barely does anything other than get hit. And I'm beginning to realize it's quite possible that Joe is all hype and that's about it. He might actually just be a piece of shit in the ring. He knows how to do some submissions, but that does not make a good wrestler. I'm going to start going back. I'm going to see if I can go back and watch some of Joe's older matches. But I remember him being hyped up quite a bit and being put over as like a killer because he was like undefeated for 18 months and everything. But it's quite possible that Samoa Joe sucks. In which case, go ahead and ruin his character. Because if Samoa Joe sucks, then fuck him. The finish comes when Lashley gets rolled up after Kurt Angle puts the ankle lock on Samoa Joe when Lashley was going to spear Joe, even though neither Kurt Angle or Joe were the legal man. And then when Joe escapes the ankle lock, Angle gets thrown towards Lashley, which Lashley dodges, but this is distraction just long enough for him to get rolled up by MVP, and MVP gets the win. I know, and now there's dissent between Angle and Lashley. My only issue is that Lashley, knowing Joe was not the legal man, should have been paying attention to MVP at that point. He really should have. So, yeah. That was TNA this week. Actually, this was a really subpar show. I'll be honest with you. It wasn't that good. I was not very entertained. The best match of the night was Bobby Roode versus Austin Aries, and as I said, if Bobby Roode's not in the gauntlet match, that match was pointless. Sorry. I'll see you next time.